This is it. This is everything from research, proposal making, and setting up the call, and we won't stop there. This whole course is built around what we're about to do with this client, and that client interaction starts right here. We're in Hayes Valley, with businesses all around. Shops, restaurants, doctors, law firms. Suppose for a moment we see an office. Hayes Valley Interior Design. The only thing that matters here is we know absolutely nothing about it. Which is good, on account of the business being entirely fictional. The first thing we do, let's check it out online. And look at that, they have a site. And the first thing we see is their site is microscopic. We have to zoom in and pan around. The second thing we see is they focus on full service design, interiors, cabinetry. We can see what things the business specializes in. And just like that, by walking along the street here, we're doing two things. One, we're finding businesses around our community, and two, we're achieving fitness goals by closing the move ring on our Apple Watch. Essentially, we're following the same format we discussed earlier in the course. We want to figure out how this design firm's potential clients find them, what they do when they get on the site, and how we can use what we learn here to help the firm move forward. And we're going to be moving relatively quickly here. And we're doing that because our time is valuable, and we don't want to spend too long researching or preparing a proposal for a client that doesn't yet know we exist. So let's see what else we can find out. How do clients find them? Well, just going to their website shows us a few things. We know they have a handful of services. These are the main areas their firm specializes in. And right now, it's just a bulleted list of what they do. You can't click through and learn more. 3 main designers, but their biographies aren't really biographies. There's a little blurb next to each designer, and that's all on one page. In design firms, just like with doctors and dentists and lawyers and engineers, a lot of people search by the person's name. There are some really long firm names out there. If someone's searching for a specific person, or if they're searching by that person's specialty, we'll want to make sure there's a biography, a bio page, for each key team member of the design firm's team. Even if it was only a one-person business, we want a page that talks about that person, their credentials, what they do and how they do it. So, how do people find them? Let's look at search. Again, we already have a hunch. Since their design services are a bulleted list, it's unlikely Google and other search engines value this design firm as an authority on any of the topics. It's also pretty unlikely that the firm's potential clients who visit the site have a lot of trust and confidence in such an empty presentation of what these designers do. So let's try that. If we type out interior designer in San Francisco, what happens? Well, nothing, because we have to hit enter. Lots of results. Let's look through page 1. Nothing so far. Let's click page 2. Nothing related to Hayes Valley interior design. For law firms, it's practice areas. For doctors, it's specialties or areas of care. For any service provider, it's the stuff they do. And it's usually the biggest thing for people learning about these businesses. It's usually what they're looking at in order to trust them and to look at them as an authority on these kinds of topics. You can make a hypothesis like this without knowing anything based on what you as a hypothetical website visitor, your potential client's client, is looking for. But for our interior design firm, let's assume people search. We can make some assumptions based on some test searches. There are services out there that will actually show you how a particular website ranks for a specific term. Again, there are a lot of variables, but our goal's not going to be to quantify everything and point to any one ranking as an absolute. Instead, we want to get our potential client here to consider how people are finding them and what's in the way of them getting there. That's the first part of our research. Next is the what happens when they get there part. We know the site isn't built for mobile devices. We know that because we tested it on iPhone already. And depending on how thorough we want to be, it might help to take some screenshots of what it looks like. Whether we're on mobile or desktop, we've noted their specialties. The services they offer don't go into very much detail. We can click around and realize there are no detailed biographies on the individuals who comprise the firm. There's no contact form to be found, except there is, but it looks like it's at the bottom here. If we're assuming for a second that this site exists to get them clients, it means the only obvious way to get in touch is the phone number on the page, which, if we check it out on mobile, isn't clickable. That's because it's an image and not actual text. And beyond that, it's easy to imagine that there are a ton of clients this firm isn't getting because not everyone wants to start out by making a phone call. Maybe people prefer a contact form or email, which again is only available at the bottom. That's what's happening when people get to the existing site. How can we help? Well, we can just take that list we made and turn each existing issue, the challenges they're facing, and turn those into services we can offer. We can build them a site that addresses each and every one of these things, and probably a great deal more. In short, we make recommendations that help them achieve their goals. Many times, this means working with our clients to get them more clients or more customers. So, our research is complete for each of the 3 parts of our proposal. Let's move into the proposal itself. And at the core of the proposal is everything we just did. And there are 1,000 ways to do this. We can write them an email, we can build them a landing page, a microsite, we can send them a slide deck, we can call them and ask for a meeting. All these things could work, but it's more important at this stage to think empathetically. What would you, as a business owner, want someone to do with this information? For our example, we're going to write it out first, print it, and politely drop it off at their office. Alternatively, we could email it to them, but it's a pretty short walk from here to Hayes Valley, and our move rings won't close themselves. Dear hypothetical fake business, we looked closely at the Hayes Valley interior design website and put together some of our observations. The first draft can be brutal, but sometimes just getting the words out works fine. We can always edit later. Since everything starts with a search, that's where we started. When we typed interior design in San Francisco, we couldn't find you on page 1 or page 2 of Google. Your goal isn't to always convince the decision maker. Most of the time, it's the person who reads or throws away the mail. And that includes emails, brochures, so it's really important to cut to the chase and show them you're talking about their business. Generic content ends up in the trash. And one of the things we noticed when we tried to load your site on an iPhone is that it looked like this. This is where that screenshot becomes helpful. We had to zoom and pan around, and it seemed to be the same thing you'd see on a desktop or laptop computer, just scrunched down and difficult to browse. Shameless plug, I do website things. Backspace. I'd love to collaborate with your team to build a site that represents the quality of your design firm, and would be thrilled at the opportunity to earn your business. Sincerely, your name here. A proposal to a client really only needs 2 results. It needs to convince them there's a need, and it needs to convince them you know what you're talking about enough to help them achieve whatever that need is. We'll email ours to the Office Max down the street to have it professionally printed. Because we took the time to research and communicate that research to our potential client, it gives us a tremendous advantage over those who might cold call and offer blanket solutions that have nothing to do with the business we're after. So what we'll do now is...
They open at 8.
So, after printing the proposal, or emailing one, or mailing it in, how long do we wait? So, how long do we wait before expecting an answer? Okay. Once we get the proposal to the client, how long do we wait? So, instead of waiting once the proposal goes out, it's a good idea, we got better audio at Office Max. Well, we printed it out and dropped it off at their front desk at Hayes Valley. And instead of waiting once the proposal is out, we don't wait. We move on to the next 50. We don't stop. And we get faster and more efficient with each attempt. That's the proposal. We take our research, we send that over to our potential client. How first contact occurs varies widely. And if in your proposal you included a phone number they might call you on. Hello? Yep.
I just wanted to know. I had a thing for Bob.
Also, they might just email you. That's pretty common, actually. And what we can do is write them back to schedule an appointment. And it usually goes something like this.
Dear McGuire, I got the brochure in the mail.
They always call it a brochure.
I'm interested in learning some more. I have a couple of questions. Mainly, how much is this going to cost? Can you improve my existing website?
Getting the harder questions out of the way.
Sincerely, Rebecca Tilden, President, Hayes Valley Interior Design.
So, in our reply,
Rebecca at hayesvalleyinteriordesign.com.
When we write out our reply, we can do something like
415-555-3870.
Dear Rebecca, thanks so much for taking the time to reach out. This is where a lot of people want to respond to the cost part and the other question. And that's a good way for us to get derailed because it becomes about price and technology instead of solving a specific need. looking at your site as we speak, happy to talk pricing, timing, and some of the other ideas we have regarding Hayes Valley interior design. Do you have 20 minutes to hop on a call tomorrow or Thursday? Sincerely, your name here.
Let's talk Thursday. How's 10:30? My contact is in the footer of this email.
Sounds great. Talk to you at 10:30. Now, 2 big notes about this. There are so many different kinds of proposals we can do. We just showed you one simple example. And the second note is this. Client interactions don't always go this way. There are people who won't budge without knowing pricing information. Generally, if you feel comfortable doing this, you can give them a range. Something like, typically we bill between $3,000 and $10,000, but it depends on the scope of work. The goal is to schedule a meeting or call. One client might ignore you, 10 might ignore you, and that's okay. Over time, we're adjusting our strategies and trying new ways to communicate the following. Someone has a need. We've identified that. We offer something of value that helps them achieve this, an area we specialize in. Now, we've included different examples of how this can go along with the full text, the full back and forth, so you can dig in and adapt any of this to what works best for you. And up next in the course, we'll prep for this meeting and actually go through the client interaction.